What's going on, guys? It's your boy JC, also known as Hot Wang Dang here. Today we're going to start a new video series called Let's Talk About It. And in these videos we're just going to kind of go over things that are happening in my life, maybe some topics that have came up that are kind of controversial that I like to stir up the pot some now and then. And we're going to start that here, but first thing with this Let's Talk, we're going to talk about the controversial move from Arizona to California. Because I'll tell you what, it has been a difficult journey. I miss my kids. Just straight up, I miss my kids. And I think that's the hardest thing about living here. Everybody always just worries about the money and like everything else that comes with California. But you know what I worry about? I worry about how much my kids miss me and how much I miss them. It's really tough being away from them and being away so long and just having phone communications and IMs and chats and stuff. And my heart misses them. And that's really heavy on me. But at the same time, I'm starting to learn that if you're not putting yourself in a great place, you're not putting your children in a great place either. And I know my ex-wife is taking care of the kids, and they're fine down there, and they're okay. They're doing great. They're thriving. They're prospering. And sometimes internally, I feel like that hurts. That hurts a little bit on the inside. You know, to know that they're doing so well without me, but at the same time, I know that they miss me, and I know that they thrive for my attention and need me there as well. So I'm there as much as I can, being 500 some odd miles away from them. But I digress. Let's start talking about the great things about moving here. Personally, my life is thriving. I'm doing really well with my job. I know it can get frustrating, as any job can get frustrating, but at the same time, I know that I'm pushing forward and pushing through those obstacles because that's my personality. And sometimes you just got to understand that there's going to be times where your job gets tough. And if you're in a really good job, one that you love, push through that. Strive and push through that, because it will come out and make you a better person from those struggles and trials that you're hitting. You know, a lot of people say that like money is the thing here, and like it's really expensive to live in. Yes, it's a little bit more expensive than most places, but looking at the whole of West Coast right now, it's expensive to live out on the West Coast, except for New Mexico. Y'all fools got some kind of garbage heap going on because ain't nobody want to live there. Sorry, Bows, ain't nobody want to live there. And it's just every place around California is getting expensive because the cost of living is going up. And that sucks that cost of living is going up because a lot of people ain't getting paid as much as they should. And, you know, I can't say that about myself. I think I'm making a fair wage, and it's a wage that I can live without here. I'm not struggling for anything really. And yes, of course, there's times where like everyone struggles with a certain amount of bills or something like that. So you do go through trials and tribulations on that part. But at the same time, no matter where you're at, you're going to have those trials, you know. In Phoenix, I had those struggles. When I lived in New Mexico, I had those struggles. When I lived in Las Vegas, I had struggles. So it didn't matter where I was, I can always have struggles. And that comes back to me making sure that my budget and my money is in place. With that said, I'll tell you what, this place is the most gorgeous freaking place in all of U.S. outside of Hawaii. Yeah, I know Hawaii people. But I'll tell you what, on this side of the West Coast, this place is amazing. There's green everywhere. The people are friendly and nice. And it's just a really good place to live. From my heart, it's a really great place to live. I always felt like I belonged here. And now I feel even more that I belong here. Because being here for a year and understanding the stability that I can have, even with a higher priced rent and things like that, you have to make sacrifices sometimes to do the things that you really love. And sometimes those sacrifices come at a great price. And y'all know what I'm talking about, the kids and stuff. That's the great price I'm paying for this right now. But I get to see them. I have them on breaks, so that's that. But knowing that, the traffic out here is phenomenal. Outside of like the traffic jams, I love where I live. I don't travel on the freeways. I don't travel on the 405 or the 5 anywhere near 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock. My wife does, so she has that struggle, but like she doesn't mind it. It only takes her about 45 to an hour to get home, which isn't too bad. But I live right next to my work, so that's not even a struggle I experience at all. So I'm going to leave that up to her to understand that struggle. But we are looking into maybe moving down closer that way, but that won't be for a while. So being out here for a year, I've learned a lot about myself. I've learned a lot about like not relying on anybody else but myself to deal with the things that come up, to deal with these struggles that I have here, and to deal with these struggles that I have here. It's important that you find yourself in a place where you can contain and control those thoughts that you're having about negativity, especially when you put yourself in a place that is full of positivity. You got to find a way to constructively get those out. And I think that's one of the struggles that I had here, because in Phoenix I had music. Music was my outlet. I went to shows all the time. I played music. I was in bands, and it was a whole lot of fun. Out here I don't have that same type of outlet, or not one that I've found quite yet, or I haven't found the group of people that I want to get involved with so much yet. I know they're out there, and I know I just have to search, but my search has been more like finding a home with my wife. Because that home with your wife turns into like a different type of monster when all you have to rely on is one another. Joe's far away from her family, I'm really far away from our family, and we got to rely on each other and come together as a cohesive unit and really make things work. We don't have the option of not making it work right now. We could split up and go our separate ways, but why would we do that when we can just figure out the problems that we're having and come together? If you're struggling with things with your wife, talk. Communicate. You need to reach out and understand each other. It's not a battle of one or the other side. It's about meeting in the middle and finding that great ground to cooperate on. With that said, let's move on and kind of talk about like the job. I came out here for my job because they said, hey, come down here, we'll pay you, we'll make sure you're taken care of. I came down here, and at first it was a struggle. Some of the things that they promised they didn't fulfill on, and it took a while to correct that action, but I feel now that my time is valuable with them, and that they appreciate me as a coworker, and I appreciate that. Growing pains with a small company, you know, that does happen, and you gotta make sure you assert yourself and make sure that your feelings are known as well, especially in the workplace. You shouldn't have to go to a place that you feel like an outcast. Don't go to a place where you feel like an outcast. If you feel like an outcast, bring it up with your HR, bring it up with your people that work there. And if they don't appreciate you for who you are, you need to find a different company to work for, because that is the end-all be-all, is when your company appreciates you for who you are, what you can bring to the table, and what you're going to do for them. That's how a job works. You're bringing them your talents. And with you bringing them their talents, they're going to bring you their security and their stability, but they need to prove that as well. It's a twofold, just like a relationship. Now on to what I've been doing lately. So definitely been playing a lot of games. I've definitely been driving into places, but I've been developing apps on the back end for myself. I've been really figuring out how to code in PHP. Not that I didn't know how to before, but I'm broadening my horizon when it comes to scripting and PHP coding and any kind of coding, really. I'm also following in line with my certs. So that's kind of where my life is at right now. I'm in a good place. I feel like my wife is in a good place, and I feel like we're building a life together and getting ready to take the next steps in the evolution of life itself. And that's not just like buying a house, that's not having kids. There's an evolution of knowledge that you have to follow and flow through. And that evolution of knowledge kind of comes with learning and figuring out one another. And if you can thrive together, that just makes it more powerful in the end when you're thriving together versus trying to battle one another with the knowledge. Share your knowledge. Understand that sharing your knowledge will help everybody in the end, not just one person. But you know, that's pretty much where I'm at. And these new videos will come up here soon. So, hey, if you like the content, please hit that sub button, hit that bell notification for when these new videos come out. I really appreciate it, because this is one of my outlets now, is creating content for you and creating interesting conversation. Also, if you want to know more about what's going on, comment below. I'll do these videos below. We can have great conversations without even talking. We can go back and forth in our chat saying, hey, I believe this is this, I believe this is this. And we can have intellectual conversations without even being together. So if you like the content, once again, hit all that stuff I just mentioned. But until next time, you guys have a wonderful day, and peace out.